Welcome back to Scarlet and Maze. I'm Adam. This is Zach. We're just going to jump right into the football news, even though it's basketball season. Jim Harbaugh staying. There's conflicting reports whether he got offered the job or not, whether he initiated the no or not, whatever. I don't really care. I don't
think there's conflicting reports.
Well, there were reports he just said no, and then there were reports that they didn't offer the job. And it was like, did they not offer the job because he pulled himself out, or did he?
That's the conflict.
That's what
he never got an offer.
He never got an offer, by all accounts. It's whether he pulled out before they offered or didn't offer or not is kind of the thing. But I'll just go first. So it's funny, like looking at different things, a lot of Michigan fans are like, it's time for him to go and whatever. It's just taking too long. It was never his timeline. He was on their timeline, but some people tried to make a big deal out of him interviewing on the late signing day. Did you think that was a big deal, Zach?
I just think it's kind of awkward. Like it's not a good look, but I don't think it makes a difference with recruits or anything. It does at that point.
That were signing yesterday.
What'd you say?
Do you know how many recruits they were in on that were signing yesterday?
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
0.
How many?
0.
Yeah. Wow.
So they're
most recruits
one other guy who's committing in like a month. So who cares? Whatever. He was honest with recruits and players the whole time about his interest. He was saying, I kind of want to go to the NFL. He wasn't even saying like, I might listen. He was saying, he told Will Johnson, the 5-star corner incoming freshman's dad, I kind of want to go. And then he went and interviewed, whatever. He can want the NFL and love Michigan at the same time. So whether it's a narrative out there or just a joke, whatever, I'm glad he's back. I had a number of State fans text me. This is something Michigan and Michigan State fans can be happy about. Dude just won the Big Ten and made the playoff. I'm glad you're still living on October 30th, 2021. One group thinks that game still mattered. And like I said, I've said it before, I'd take the results of last season every time. If Michigan lost to Michigan State and made the playoff every year, I don't give a crap. That's fine.
Yeah.
I am glad Harbaugh's back. It keeps most of the staff intact. Obviously, Mike McDonald left, which sucks. But, most of the staff comes back. They probably won't have any unexpected transfers because he's back. That's good. Will Johnson, the 5-star corner, said he was uncertain about his future if Harbaugh wasn't there. Now he's here. So I'm glad according to Adam Schefter, he told Ward Manuel, I'm here as long as you'll have me, which you made the point. What else is he going to say? Like, whatever.
Yeah.
He's a weird guy, as a lot of people like to point out in some moments. I think he's always told the truth. Just like, I want to go to the NFL, not I'm going to listen. I believe him. If you don't, you don't. I don't really care. I think he'll be here for a while. I thought he was going to be here for a long time before this season. If he didn't get fired from this season, but I'm glad he's back. He just honestly. So from a Michigan fan standpoint, dude just beat Ohio State. It may have taken longer than everybody who roots for Michigan wanted. He just won the Big Ten. It may have taken longer than everybody wanted. He still just did it. It's not like he did it 10 years ago and then has had a drought and we're like, but he's going to do it. He just did it this year. Why would I want him gone?
Right.
Like, he's obviously a good enough coach to get it done. Even if he doesn't win next year or the next year, whatever, like, he still has shown he can get it done.
Yeah. The biggest reason I didn't want him to leave is because I didn't want him to go out on top. But that was the same reason I wanted him to stay, because that was the same reason I also wanted him to leave. Because it would have been hilarious if Michigan has their best season in 20 years and then the coach just pieces out.
Yeah, that was almost my tweet of the week. The Michigan fans experiencing one good season and then the universe just glaring in the mirror in the window.
Yeah.
Ready to ruin everything. It was going to be my tweet of the week until yesterday's news, but
yeah, I think it's tough. It seems like he'll always have that one foot out the door, though. Like, if all of a sudden, because he didn't get an offer, and that was the biggest thing here. Like, it didn't work out between those two parties. But that doesn't mean maybe a year or two down the road, an NFL team gives him a call, he's not going to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, part of the narrative from at least the Michigan side of things was he was looking specifically at teams that he had relationships with. So he didn't have a relationship with the Vikings, but he did with the GM that they just hired. So really, like next year there might be the Colts, but the NFL used to hire and rehire and rehire and rehire the same old coaches. And it seems like now they're finally catching up to like, oh, this guy sucked there. Maybe he'll suck here. We're going to hire a new young coordinator. Harbaugh obviously was a good NFL coach, but I think the desire is for a new innovative thing and not a retread of sorts. I also think, like, I think he knows his window is closing, and he also knows it would damage. So if he went for it again and then didn't get the job again, I don't think he could come back again.
Yeah, I don't think it would be something like he went for. I think I do think like he said, he'll be there for the long term. But I do think that there is that chance that somebody comes and gives him a call and they're like, hey, we want you. And it's like very clear because like the Vikings never gave him an offer. I think that was the biggest factor here, that obviously there wasn't that mutual interest, but if they call that mutual interest that worked out, but if it's a team that like he really would seems, I think there's still a chance that there'd be an interest there from both sides, an NFL team and Harbaugh. And I think that there's a chance that he would take that job if somebody came calling to him.
There are, I think, Harbaugh and Bo Schembechler parallels that he would like to be made, but also Bo Schembechler almost left for Texas A&M. I think he had like accepted the job and then backed out. I don't remember exactly right now, but he almost left for Texas A&M, decided to stay at Michigan, and then was there for a while, and then ended up leaving and became the president of the Detroit Tigers, like a whole other freaking sport. So I'm not saying Harbaugh will be there till he dies. I do think that this is kind of his Bo to A&M moment where he's like, hey, no, I'm here. I mean, time will tell. We'll see. Yeah. Do you think it'll be awkward for returning players, coaches, incoming recruits, things like that?
Yeah, I mean, just a little bit. I think there's got to be those conversations had. Like, I know he was transparent through it all, but it was also pretty obvious that he was going to take the job offer if it worked out. Like, it was pretty obvious that he wanted to leave Michigan. Not necessarily leave Michigan, but he wanted to go to the NFL. You know what I mean? So, I mean, there's definitely going to be – he has to have some of those conversations with some of those guys for sure.
Yeah, I think
which he might have already had. I
think the media narrative of it being awkward and weird is probably overblown. Like we've talked about, he's been talking to them the whole time. They know him better than we know him, better than reporters know him. They know whether he's sincere or not. Probably he's not snake oil salesman, slimy guy. He's been straightforward. So what he says usually is what it is. And he probably does have to address things, but I think he probably says things one time. Then he's the freaking jackhammer he talks about being, and they just move on and focus on. Yeah,
I just think the hardest part is the way it's painted is that the Vikings didn't give him an offer.
Yeah,
that's what most of the reports are saying. Not necessarily that if Harbaugh didn't want it or Harbaugh walked away. Like most of the reports are saying that the Vikings didn't give him an offer.
Yeah, I mean, all he has to say is, "Well, they're just lying. It's their PR team."
Yeah,
I wonder if we'll ever find out. Who knows? I don't really care, to be honest. I'm glad he's back. Glad people text me like, "Are you glad he's back, or do you wish he left?" I'm like, no, I really wish they would have hired Josh Gaddis instead of bringing back a coach that just won the conference.
Yeah, do you think that there's a little bit of a weirdness there between like Josh Gaddis is thinking like, oh, I'm about to be the head coach, and then now not?
No,
like,
I think he'll
good chance of the head coach
soon. He reportedly interviewed for Virginia and was their second choice behind the Clemson offensive coordinator. But
how do you take the Clemson offensive coordinator over him?
I mean, it's kind of like the flip. Like Josh Gaddis, this was his best year. And then this was the Clemson offensive coordinator's one bad year.
Yeah, that's true.
But I don't know.
Yeah, I just love that. I don't know if he was asked this or something, but I just saw like a clip of Ryan Day on Big Ten Network saying like, if I ever take a job somewhere else, like then I have to leave my family because my family, we already decided we're not leaving Columbus. Like this is the best place to coach. Like I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but Ryan Day's Buckeye, not going anywhere is what it seems like.
What else is he gonna say, Zach?
No, but the thing is, like, he doesn't have to say that. He wasn't out searching for NFL jobs. He wasn't out doing stuff.
That we know of.
Okay.
So let's recap some basketball quick. Michigan, I think I got all the games since our last episode. I actually got COVID, so I'm sorry for the delay there in the episodes. But
well, then we were going to record earlier this week, and then I hit a deer, and then
a whole bunch of problems. Beat Northwestern by 2, lost to Michigan State by 16, and then beat Nebraska by 6. My takeaway, like, the Northwestern game was close. Northwestern's played, like, I've been talking a lot of this time during the basketball episodes about how Northwestern isn't that bad. They're playing a lot better than they were supposed to be. Michigan won. A win is a win. Like, for that game is what I say. Michigan, I think, made 1 or 2 threes the whole game. You can't do that. Michigan was pounding it down low. In the first half, it was like, it's funny, it was almost the reverse of the Beeline versus Michigan State teams. Like 3 is greater than 2. So Michigan was pounding it down low, like Michigan State used to do. And then Michigan State was making some threes. And then in the second half, Michigan had this stretch of 6 or 7 minutes without scoring, like they keep doing in a bunch of games. And Michigan 2 was greater than 0 that game, but whatever. Nebraska is playing better, but Michigan shouldn't have been as close as that. Michigan didn't shoot the best again. Hunter Dickinson got in foul trouble early. I honestly was never really worried even late because when he was on the court, he was unstoppable. He just dominated them. So he got a couple early fouls, sat the first half. The only thing, I wish they would have played him more in the first half. But even during the first half, I was like, they're just saving him as long as it's close. It's fine. They're not worried about it. And that ended up being the case. So I don't know. I'm feeling like maybe Michigan makes the tournament, maybe not. I also am not that invested right now because if they make the tournament, they're not going to go anywhere. So I'm not one of the, like, just make the tournament, just make it, keep a streak. I don't care. Like, you want to make the tournament to win the tournament, to go far in the tournament. If they make the tournament, it's going to be as a not very good seed, and they're going to go out early. I mean, it's whatever. Maybe that makes me a bad fan. I don't care. Like, I'll watch them. I'll cheer for them, whether they're in the NIT or the big dance. They're not going to win anything this year, so who cares?
Yeah, I was at a conference on Saturday, so I missed the Michigan game, but I was following the score throughout it, and I saw at halftime was a close score, and I was like, maybe Michigan can pull this off, and this can be their turning point. And then obviously Michigan State pulled away in the second half, but it just seems like those games, like the Northwestern, Nebraska games, they seem like those games that are like, if they lose this game, the season's over, and they just keep squeaking them out. I just loved the Nebraska game when they were losing at halftime. I was like, oh, here we go. They're going to Adam's great hot take of Nebraska making the tournament.
Maybe Nebraska gets hot. What if they went out, huh? Make the tournament? Ohio State won at Minnesota 75-64 and then lost at Purdue by 3. I actually turned off the Purdue game when it was a 15-point Purdue lead. I guess it got up to 20 at one point. And then they came back, and I watched the end of that game, but what in the world?
Yeah, that game was wild. Honestly, like, throughout this stretch, since Big Ten play started, they've been good, not great, in my opinion. And I think it's a huge part of that is Arn's shooting, just an Arn's shooting slump. Since that COVID pause, he's made more than 1 3-pointer in a game twice, and that's just not the norm from him. I don't know the stat on it, but he makes 2 or 3s a game at least, typically. And the one time he did make 2 was on 6 attempts, which just is not good, and from the 3-point line. And I think if he can get out of that slump, it'll make the Buckeyes go from good to great. I mean, if Arns makes 2 threes in that Purdue game, then they win the game, you know?
Yeah, man, that's rough.
That Purdue game was so rough to watch. To see the come back all the way, come back, and then just a disgusting three for the win with less than a second left on the clock that was tough to watch. Yeah, although I love Ivy. I mean, he was my Big Ten Player of the Year preseason.
Yeah.
But
coming up so we're about to get back on our normal recording schedule. Between now and then, Michigan and Ohio State, I think both just have one game. Michigan is at Purdue on February 5th. Ohio State is hosting Maryland on the 6th. Michigan at Purdue, I think, is just going to be a bloodbath. They got Zach Edey, who's going to be able to probably guard Hunter Dickinson pretty well. Travion Williams is going to come off the bench and probably handle him okay. Dickinson will probably score a little bit, but they're just not good enough outside of Dickinson. Like they're so young that even the players that aren't playing, like Kobe Buffkin is so inconsistent. He's going to get better next year. Frankie Collins is going to get better next year. There's going to be better players. Like the players that are not playing super well are going to be playing better next year. And they have some incoming guys, but as of right now, unless Eli Brooks scores 35 points, that won't happen. I think honestly, Michigan's going to lose by like 25 or 30. It's going to be
and I could see Dickinson getting into foul trouble early again here with Edey and Williams down low.
Yeah,
they go down low. They go down low every possession.
Yeah, I mean they have to at this point. Caleb Houston is like he's had a few good games, but then he goes super cold.
Well, I meant Purdue, but
yeah.
Because they got those big guys. The ball touches down low every possession.
But they also have Sasha Stefanovic.
Mm-hmm.
They have other shooters like they're kind of built like how Michigan wants to be built, and they're not right now. So that's going to be pretty bad, I think.
Well, it's probably because they're built with veterans.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
Ohio State is probably going to kill Maryland, right?
Yeah, they should beat Maryland handedly. Yeah, I think they'll win by double digits. You think Ohio State plays every game close, but
I think but I'm almost with you. I'll say Ohio State by 9. So barely single digits. Do you have any Big Ten thoughts? Any thoughts around
not really. It's a pretty wide open race at this point still. Like even Indiana's a sleeper. If they can go on a run, they won't. But like the top 5 teams there, I think any of those teams could win the Big Ten between Illinois, Michigan State, Purdue, Wisconsin, even Ohio State. They're down 2 games because they've played less games. But yeah,
I'm still. It'll probably get disregarded because I'm a Michigan fan. I'm still a little down on MSU, not because they're MSU, but because they're still playing so many games. Like they're playing some bad teams.
Yeah.
Close.
What was they just played Maryland? It was a 2-point game, wasn't it?
Something like that, yeah. Fats Russell had a huge 3 towards the end of that game. Tweets of the week. What do you got? Or do you want me to go first?
My tweet of the week was, I don't know what the count was, but they tweeted a picture of the Michigan banner that says, Michigan, those who stay will be champions. And it's edited so it says Michigan, those who stay didn't get the job offer. It's just hilarious and great and ironic.
Very ironic. Mine is from @MetaWootenPeace, who quote retweeted John Rothstein, who said tonight's game between Iowa and Ohio State in Columbus has been postponed due to inclement weather per release. And then @MetaWootenPeace said they saw what snow did to them on November 27th and said, not again.
Oh, yeah, because it was Iowa who canceled because they couldn't get there, but that's okay.
I think CJ Stroud was out coughing, and they were like, oh, no, we can't handle this. We don't want the basketball team to get that terrible sickness. I don't know.
Good one. It's a good one.
Yeah, thanks. Well, with that.
Wait.
What?
I wanted to bring up my tweet of the week would have been last week was Tate Martell had tweeted forever ago when Justin Fields had transferred to Ohio State and Tate Martell was still on the roster. He said, "You don't swing and miss, and definitely don't swing and miss twice." And then he lost the starting job to Fields, transferred to Miami, didn't do anything in Miami, transferred to UNLV, didn't do anything in there, and is now retired from football. I just think it's funny. Don't swing and miss 3-4 times. Tate Martell.
And alive. Old Tathan.
Mm.
Yeah, well, with that, we'll see you next week. We'll be back in our normal show, our normal schedule. Hopefully talking about a Michigan upset of Purdue that definitely won't happen, but
Never know.
you never know. Crazier things have happened.
I think it's more likely Ohio State loses to Maryland, but
I agree. With that, buy your snacks at Quality Dairy. We'll see you next time. Go Blue.
Go Buckeyes.